Hello. Okay. Let me make sure this light right. Let me make sure this light right. Should I scooch up? I'm gonna scooch up. Ow. Sorry, my boot. My boot. My boot. My boot. My boot. Gotta adjust my undies. Okay. So, this video, we are going to be talking about my experience so far with, I don't like to say no fap, but it's no fap. But it's big in there. So no masturbation and no porn. So this is my experience with that. And let me tell you something, honey. Okay, greatest decision that I've ever made in my life. Um, Once I found out that it possibly could affect me spiritually, I was like, okay, let me just stop. You know, because I take that very seriously. It's not like I haven't tried before. The furthest along that I got was probably like 3 or 4 days. But now, right now, it is 16 days. Yeah, 16 days or 16 nights, I should say. 16 nights, 17 days of no porn and no masturbation. Um, so I'm going to be talking about how it increased my spiritual energy and helped me, or not helped me because I didn't intend to do this, but it did awaken my Kundalini energy and my third eye as well. Um, and so here's one of the things that did happen during this experience, and I feel it's necessary to talk about this if anyone else attempts this because it caused a lot of it was one of the main sources for my struggle is that my dreams did become more sexual. Um, it represented an increase in power as far as the interpretation of the dreams, but still, they did become more sexual. It involved, like I had a dream of like, should I talk? You know what? Ugh. You know, I don't want to. I don't really want to say this, but I'm gonna just keep it real. I had a dream that my lower half of my body was detached, and I was really into myself. Okay, that's all I'll say. Um, but it's just been like other people touching me sexually or having sexual experiences, and yeah. So my dreams definitely got more sexual. So if you're thinking about doing this, I would say just prepare for that possibility because yes, I would wake up and I would have erections and just there's that temptation that comes from that. So yeah, so that did happen. But like I said, it was a representation of an increase in power, spiritual energy and spiritual power. Um, and also, as well, I've been learning more about, or not learning more, but I've been kind of studying more about a lot of ancient civilizations and mythology, things related to creation, the cosmic egg, things like that. And I began to realize that creation is one of our God given abilities that we have. Um, if you look at certain entities that reside or non-human entities, whatever the case may be, they do not have the ability to create. They do not have the ability to give birth, which is why they tend to latch onto human beings, or they will. If we're talking about things like the incubus spirit, they will molest. Um, Whether you want to take that figuratively or literally is up to you. Um, but to almost make a hybrid demon human child, things like that, because they don't have the ability to do that on their own. Because if they did, they wouldn't need to latch on to us, you know. And I want everybody to remember there's certain things that you have as just as a spiritual entity and a human that as a descendant from God that these entities do not have. They wish that they have, you know, and creation is one of them. The ability to give birth and life is one of them. So during masturbation, you are really an open channel, not for things to come in, but you are releasing your energy, pretty much, is what I'm trying to get to here. You're releasing your energy, um, and you're allowing yourself to really flow, which is why it's such a beautiful thing to do with another person. Um, but again, you don't want to do it with people who, may not be the best. But that's one of the reasons that it allowed my own internal spiritual energy to, my internal spiritual energy to increase and amplify, which is part of the reason that I feel or I believe that my third eye has opened and my Kundalini energy has awakened. Is because of that. Uh, because I have a lot of, I like to call it my superpowers. Like I feel like when I'm not masturbating, not watching porn, like I start to get like superpowers. And yes, I did steal that from Spiritual Soul because when he said it, I was like, okay, let me see what you're talking about. What are these superpowers? But let me tell you, like as far as my intuition has increased, I don't want to get too deep because I have other videos on that as well. My intuition has increased creatively as an artist. Like I do graphic design, but I've never made like and I haven't posted anything, so I'm not going to share a link because it's not up yet. I really want to do just a full series of content and then begin to share it with the world. Right now, it's not ready. But as a creative, it's just been the greatest thing for me. And I can also attribute that, of course, to my imagination flourishing because I'm not imagining sort of sexual acts as much with other people. I mean, it's like where's that energy has to go somewhere else. Yeah. So yeah, if you are just reserving all of that energy, you're just increasing your spiritual power. I read some stuff that people were saying like it would give you more energy and things like that, but I already had like a lot of energy in the first place, so that didn't really have an effect. I don't think. I think the easiest way to get some energy is to change your diet and start working out and go to bed on time. That was the only way that I got energy and not smoking weed. Um, so yeah, and then also I wanted to say as well because I mentioned earlier that we have the ability to create. We also have the ability to create technology. So that is another one of our gifts, I feel. Like I said, I'm not an expert. These are just things that I believe and information that I have received from source. So we have the ability to create technology as well as give birth, and those are really our gifts. If you look at animals in nature, yes, they can construct and they can build, and they do have tools that they use, but it's in no comparison to what we as human beings do. If you're talking about a microphone, that is or just technology in general is oftentimes an imitation of us. It's oftentimes an imitation of our abilities that we're born with. If you have a microphone, the microphone listens. These are our ears that we already have. Speakers, that's our throat. That is our voice that we use to project audio. Fans, even hell, we blow wind too. Shit, the earth or wind is a naturally occurring thing. When you talk about a fan, it's an imitation of something that naturally occurs in nature. If you're talking about TVs and screens, anything like that, these things naturally occur in nature. Um, what else? Lights, of course, representing the sun. Um, and then, of course, robots, of course. But a lot of technology is nothing more than just the imitation of us in nature. So I always just don't underestimate yourself and your abilities. I won't get too deep into it because, that's like, then I have to start talking about aliens and everything else. But even your phone, you know what I'm saying? If you're talking about a calculator, it's doing math. These are things that we can do inside of our own head. We have all of these. We are the electronics. We are technology. That is us. Um, so just think about that. If phones are communicating wirelessly, why can't we? These things don't just. I start going into this mode, but these things don't just exist by chance. Nothing is accidental. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a lot of times you look back at ancient civilizations and we're like, how the hell did they do this and how did they do that? Well, I mean, right now we don't know, but all I'm trying to say is a lot of our technology is God given, and a lot of it isn't. A lot of it's reverse engineered. Is where I'm going with this. A lot of our technology is imitations of life and nature, one, and then a lot of it is reverse engineered. A lot of the technology that we have, we didn't create ourselves. Um, Same thing with a lot of the iconic monuments that we have. We built them, but as far as how we knew or how we went about the creation process of those, all of that is divine source knowledge and education. Um, so yeah, don't underestimate yourself and your capabilities, and really understand who you are. You are a descendant of God, a descendant of gods. So you really are powerful. Um, there's some other things that I'll say in some in my other videos, because I know that I have it on some other bullet points. So I don't want to say it in this video because then I'll be just going over and repeating stuff. But yeah, you are a descendant of God, and you do have superpowers, if you want to call them that. You have strength, you have power within you on a spiritual level that you can hone and you can tap into. So I think yeah, I'm gonna cut it there, okay? And we're gonna end this video. So I will see you guys in the next one. And thank you guys for tuning in. As always, I really really appreciate you guys. And if you I don't like saying no fab. Like it just sounds so disgusting. No fab. Who the fuck? Excuse me. I haven't cussed. I just noticed I haven't cussed in a lot of my videos. But who decided that no fap was like the term for this? So if you have um, quit masturbation or quit porn, I would love to hear about you. We would all love to hear about your experiences, any advice that you have. Um, I guess I'll give my one piece of advice is sometimes if I was feeling temptation, I would usually take a nap, and that would resolve it. A nap or a quick exercise. If you're an artist, instead of falling into that temptation, I would create a new piece of art. You know, it's just these things. It's just energy. You know, it's energy. The same way that you can call on the gods and your angels to help assist you with transmuting negative energy into positive energy. You can do that same thing with anything that you're feeling inside of your body. If you're feeling a temptation to do something that you don't want to do, not to say that it's bad for you, but something that you don't want to do, you can take that energy and transfer it to something else. So yeah, I'll end the video there, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like I said, leave your comments, um, and yeah, if you see this, if you want to subscribe, um, I intend to make my videos a lot better. I know my last videos were kind of all over the place. Now that I'm recording these with my notes, I see that. um, so yeah, we're just gonna keep going up from here. I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in, and keep having an awesome day, and keep being soldiers of love. Thank you guys so much. Bye bye.